Debbie with Kip's Corner. Welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. Thanks for joining me. And a huge thank you to all of you who have subscribed. We did it. We hit 5,000. Yay. That was just that was a milestone for me, a goal, if you will. And so I'm super excited. And I think I'd mentioned in a video past recently that I was going to do something, and I think I've decided what I'm going to do. So I'm working on the 3 journals now. One of these, the one I'm going to call Toy Story, it will be a giveaway. But I also have a mixed media piece that I have barely started, but and that'll be a surprise. But I am also going to include a mixed media piece. So 2 winners, 2 giveaways. More information to come. I want to get both of those pieces done first, and then I'll kind of give details on the giveaway. So watch for that coming up. And if you are watching this and you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. So that's that. The other thing is I want to say apologize for not being around, not being consistent with my videos the past couple months. There's just a ton that's been going on in my life and in the lives of my family. And it's just been just a lot to deal with over the past couple of months. I had an eye ulcer, and then I had to have oral surgery, had to have a molar removed, and that was fun. And then I found out, of course, that there's a ton more dental work because, I was blessed with good teeth, not. And so that's facing me. And then yesterday, I found out that I have a plumbing pipe running under my basement floor. So kind of in the middle of a portion of my basement that is missing the bottom half of it. So that has to be replaced. And that means, of course, digging up concrete and part of my basement floor. And then my daughter-in-law's mother is in the midst of a health crisis, and so we're praying that is not worst-case scenario. My mother had surgery. My brother's getting ready to have surgery. So it's just kind of been one thing after another. So bear with me. We'll get through these. And luckily, sitting here in the studio and working on things is great mental health for me. So I will not step away from that. I just might not record videos as much between now and the end of the year. We'll just kind of play it by ear and see what happens. So anyway, that's the update of my life. More information than I typically share, but I thought some of you might be curious as to why my videos have been a little sporadic. Now you know. Okay, all that said, let's move on. So today I am working on another autumn, and this is going to be a design team project for Tracie Fox Creative. I have the cover mostly done. I have the signatures sort of figured out, a little more work to do on them. And I've started playing with the first page of the signatures. There's 5 of them. And I went in with some of my spines left over from gutting books and just kind of put a little edging on them. There's some there, and just went through each of the signatures and played with that. So that's done. I still have some inking and quarter rounding and, some things to do to the signatures. And I think there's one more thing I wanted to put in there. So not completely ready, but ready enough for me to start playing with getting ready to decorate them. So what I've got here are 2 different, these are both Tim Holtz dies. I think one is newer, one is older. I'm not sure. Yeah, this is an older one. And they are, let's see, what is this one called? I don't know. It's leaves. They're both leaves. So I am going to cut some of these out and put some a little bit of collaging together on some of the pages in the signature. Since it's a fall journal or fall themed, what I want to do is get some of these fall colors on there. So with that, before I do any die cutting, I'm going to play with, that's got something on it. I'm going to play with creating some papers. So this is just playtime. I'm just going to experiment. I don't even know right off the top of my head what I'm going to do. What I've got here, this is a canvas paper, and so it has kind of a canvas texture to it. And I have put a coating of white gesso over the top of it. So that ought to help with the color and prepping that surface. The idea is just to flood this with, you know, fall-ish colors. And then once that dries, I'll come in and I'll die cut these and then play with the collage. So I have 2 because I don't know how many I need. So I thought I would just get started. I'm going to start with, this is walnut crystals dissolved into water. And I just put it in a little mini spray bottle. And I'm just going to start with that and just kind of play with getting some color back here. And then what I'll do is just keep layering and adding color. I might add some texture. I'll dry between layers. And so let's let this dry. So it takes a little bit just because of the whole drying between layers. And if I have any areas where I'm not in love with the way the color kind of is sitting, I may add a little bit of water. And that's got a neat effect. So we'll dry that. And so really it's kind of just playtime, you know? A little bit of science experimenting maybe. And I just want to keep layering and keep adding color on this until I'm to a point where I feel pretty good about where I am with the overall color, and that's within, of course, when I'll die cut. So I'll speed this along, but I'll try to stop and show you what I'm putting on as each layer, and hopefully I'll come up with something that I like. All right, next layer is, this is a Seth Apter spray, and it's a dye spray, and this is honey. Okay, next up, this is infusions. It's terracotta. And infusions are a powder that when you mix with water, they react, and they are walnut ink based. So they have a little bit of brown in them. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little on here. See if we can get some of that fall red in here. And then I'm just gonna activate with water. Oh, see, that's pretty. I said fall red, I meant orange. That's not red, that's orange. I do have a red that I may use. And then I'm just gonna move that around a little bit with a brush. Kind of break up those, you can see that walnut ink coming out, break up those sprinkles. Move that around a little bit more. And you can also pre-mix this and not, you know, sprinkle directly onto your paper. But, all right, I'm gonna go back in now and add another layer of the walnut ink. All right, I've got a couple more sprays here. I've got salvaged patina from Distress Ink. Wanted to get a little bit of that greenish, you know, patina on there. This is Wild Honey. This is really pretty, Distress. This is from Lindy's Stamp Gang. It's Gnome Berry Bordeaux. So I think that's going to be pretty. And I'm not sure about this one. This is Mai Tai, also from Lindy's. So let me get these shook up nicely. And you're supposed to do it like this, but I'm going to put just a tiny bit of this on there just to kind of see what that does. Might be too bright, might be perfect. Oh, I like it. Yeah, okay. So we're going to get that orange back in there, and let's add, while we're adding orange, let's go ahead and mix it before we dry with a little bit. There we go. Getting a little deeper now. And I don't think I'm going to put any water on this round. I think I'll dry that as is. Here we go. All right, let's get some more color on here. There's some spots here that are really, really pretty. Let's try, whoops, not that one. Let's see. Let's try a little bit of the Gnomeberry Bordeaux. This is a starburst spray, which means it kind of has other colors in it, and I think this one has a little bit of mica in it. We'll find out. All right, I want a little more of that golden, so we're going to go back to some honey. Some beautiful, the starburst that has the mica in it, it's a coppery kind of mica. It's really pretty. I don't know if it's showing up on camera or not, but I think it'll add just a nice little tiny touch of light shimmer. I'm not a shiny person, but I think it'll be a nice little touch. Remember, we're die cutting all of this, so. All right, one last thing I want to do. I want to put one more layer, actually, and I might ruin it, but I'm going to put just a little bit of patina. And these layers are not 100% completely dry when I put a layer on, but they're pretty dry. So let's go. I just want to kind of do some drops. And it may not come across as patina because of the color underneath, but just a few drops and just a little bit of water. Get some of that greenish kind of color in there. Remember, the colors that you add will mix. So patina that, you know, is kind of bluish with all the orange and colors that I've got down below it will change the colors here a little bit. I'm kind of running this down to the corner to create those veins. I want a little bit more right in here. I'm just kind of dripping it. Let's see if that does anything. I don't want to mix it too much, though. I will end up with a bit of a mud. Okay. Yeah, now we got a little bit more of that showing up. Good, perfect. So this is just experimentation, you know, like I said, you just kind of keep playing until you're pretty happy with it, and know that, you know, I'm not using this whole sheet as is. This is going to be die cut. And so when I put my dies down on the paper to run through the die cutting machine, I can kind of pick and choose where I want them, you know, to a certain degree. For the next one, I'm going to do the same thing, but I want to get colors just slightly different. So on this one, I think I'm going to start with the patina. You see how blue that is compared to how green it kind of came out over there? So let's just spritz that around. So we're going to turn it green. Now let's add the, this is wild honey. Okay. Roll that around a little bit. You see where we've got sort of a different, almost looks like a texture here on the edge? That's where I don't have gesso. So you can kind of see what the gesso does for you. It looks like I've skipped a couple spots. That's perfect, actually. That's nice. That just adds that much more texture and variance to it. So I don't mind that at all. I mean, I was putting white on white, right? So I skipped a few spots, but that's okay. That actually works out really well and really in my favor. All right, let's add some, this is Seth Apter's Wild Honey. All right, now I'm gonna add that walnut crystals again. And a little bit of water to go with it. So I can move it around. I say a little bit of water and I put a lot on. And I'm going to come through like this. Roll some of that off. Okay, I've got 2 sheets now. Let's see if I can show those up a little closer. This is still wet, of course, so it'll dull down a little bit, but you can kind of see some of those spots and specks. And remember, I'll be cutting, using die cuts to cut out. And then this one, of course, is darker, a little more orange, got some of that deeper, darker color. And so together, combined, I think they'll make really pretty pieces. So what I'm going to do next is clean up my mess, let these completely dry, and then I'm going to come back over them with just a little bit of stamping. So let me do that, and then we'll get them die cut, and I'll be back. So I will be back. Okay, these are pretty dry enough anyway. And now what I want to do is come in here and add a little stamping. And I was at an estate sale recently where they had tons of Stampin' Up supplies, and so I picked up these stamp pads. I have no idea if they have any ink in them, but we're gonna find out. So I've also got a few stamps here from Seth Apter that this is kind of a background stamp. This is 2 different ones. So I'm just going to play a little bit with these. And I think I'm going to start with the small little alphabet here. I think these are small enough that that'll be kind of fun. So let's start with this green and see if there's anything here. See if there's some juice in here. I think there is. Let's see, let's get this out of the way for this moment. Get this in camera. And here we go. Let's see, I do want to get this going the right direction. Yep, here we go. So I'm just going to randomly stamp this green. We'll do that, and then I think I'm going to come in with something different. Let's get some of this. This is a cool piece, and let's get a different color. This looks like it's called Cajun Craze, so it's got that orangey kind of color to it. So let's see here. Let's see, which way does this go? I really don't want to put it upside down. Okay, it goes like that. Okay. Yeah, a little bit there. Just some lines in the background. That's probably enough. Let's do one more down here. Okay. And then just getting the ink off of the pad. Okay, there's that. Then let's bring some brown in. This is called Early Espresso, so this should be fairly dark. And I'm going to do a different stamp. I'm going to do this background stamp. So just randomly. Let's get some up here. Yeah, this this ink pad is not quite as dark, but it's still showing, it's good. It's showing some, it's a very dark brown, and so it's just getting us some darkness in there. Okay. I think that's probably pretty good. I don't know if you can see some of those stamps on there. I may, you know what? Let's see. Let's do just a tiny bit of black with one more stamp with this grid. Let's do this. There we go. A little bit of that in there. And I don't know where these are going to land. Just random. Get some up here. There we go. That's probably enough. She says as she continues, that's probably enough, and we keep on going. Okay. Yeah. All right, stop there. Now let's come back to, I'm going to come back to the green. Oops, wrong one. This one. Make sure the letters are going in the right direction. I'm going to put a little bit more of this on there, because I think this is really a neat stamp. And I'll get some darker, some lighter. Okay. Let's put a little there and a little there. And this is just, you know, there is not a right or wrong way to do this, of course. What about some right down here? Okay, that's probably pretty good. Actually, I keep saying, see, I keep adding to it. I want to do a little bit more of this one. Okay, now I really am going to stop. Okay. No, one more right here. There we go. Now I'm stopping. And so what I've got is that color in the background, but then there's also sort of these marks through here, these lines. And as I die cut, some of that will come out on the leaves and some will not. Okay, I'm back and I have got a ton of leaves, more than I'll need, but that's okay. And the ones where so here, let me get these out of the way. Let's talk through what I've got here. Okay, so first off, the ones from the paper that we just created. Look at the beautiful, see that? See, you can see the texture. Whoops, got something on it. You can see the texture in the paper too. Here's another pretty green one. And I smeared some of the stamping, which is just fine. Here's another one. It's got nice colors on it. And then there's some darker ones. So they really, I'm really happy with the way these came out. Here's another, if I can get it picked up. Here's another greeny. Let's see, it's got some veins in it, sort of. And here. Really turned out nice. That was one die. Then the other die was this. And it also has some really nice colors on it. And then there's this big guy here. And the first time I did it, I ripped him. So I just pulled a couple of the little leaves off. Here's some more. All different colors. That's a really, really pretty one. Some lights, some darks. And so you get the idea. Like here's two completely different ones. So then I remembered that I had another die. So there's 3 dies that I've used. So I've used this. It's 665559. And it's the decayed leaves. And then I used this one, which is an older one. And it is 663094. At least I think it's an older one. Maybe not. And then I used this Biggs that I completely forgot I had. And it is 656927. So this is actually the oldest of them. And so I had these 3. So apparently I like leaf dyes. So, yeah. So I took the Biggs, which I kind of forgot I had and found after I had done all of these. And then I took different types of paper and cut those. So what I did is I've got a couple different books here. Just some book pages at different directions. This was a dictionary. So I just randomly placed the pages on the die. And then this is the watercolor paper that I use inside the journals. It's got some nice colors on it too, so we get that golden. Then I did a couple in this kind of this reddish color. I'm gonna darken these up a little bit so they kind of go more. And then I did a few from some blank journal pages and an old, like a handwritten there and there. And then these two are from handmade paper, a brown handmade paper. This is from this paper. A little bit of this is in the journal, and it's just got all those wonderful colors in it. And then this is a piece of that. I just happen to have a little piece of the cork fabric sitting on my desk, and so I went ahead and threw that through too. But I just got one of those. So now with all of these leaves, the next thing I want to do is I want to do some playing a little bit here and see if, I don't know if this will work or not, but I want to put a little bit of, do some embossing on some of these. So I'm going to take one of these. Let's see, let's take one just in case I ruin it, where I have plenty of them. Let's see, there's 5 different shapes in each of these sets. That's different. That's that one. Those two go together. Those two go together. Those two go. Okay, it looks like I have, whoop, that has a little piece that I didn't get poked through. There we go. Get that off of there. Missed one. That was a lot of work. A lot of poking. All right, I've only got 2 of everything. Right? No, I've got 3 of these. Here we go. I've got 3 of these. So I'm going to take one of these. This one will work. I'm going to take one of these just in case I ruin it and see what happens if I put some embossing powder on it. I'm going to use, first off, I'm going to try some Seth Apter's vintage beeswax. So let's try this first. Let's see if this works. And if it doesn't, I have plenty of leaves. I'm not going to be out anything. So it's okay. There you go. I don't know if you can see that. That's a neat effect. Oops, there's a little tiny piece there that didn't get heated from the... There we go. Really neat effect. Little shiny, but that's okay as long as there's not too much of that going on. So let's take another one. Let's do one of these and see if one of these works. Those look pretty good. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to go into a couple of these book pages and I want to test out adding some Tim Holtz Distress embossing glaze. Now this is translucent, so this text pages should still come through. That's the idea. You can still see the text through there, so that's really pretty. And it's, you know, color-wise, it's hitting right in line with everything else. So let's do another 1 or 2 of those. Let's see, let me get a different shape. It's kind of blotchy. It's perfect. And then if you look at some of these with the green, you can see how that kind of works. So I like that one too. And what's hilarious is it looks like there's just a tiny bit of that rust in there. So I'm going to lean into that. And while this is still damp, if it will work, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of that rust on there. Now, and this is kind of thin, it's almost translucent now. Now I've got a little bit of that color. So now when you look at something like this, they're not the same color, but they match. Okay, I'm going to actually add a little bit of rust to this one because I really like the way that worked. There you go. So now you can see, that color that's on there. This is Seth Apter's Wow Mixed Media Embossing Brush. So it's the same embossing liquid that's in your pad, but it's in a liquid brush form. Mine is almost empty, and I think last I saw he had it on back order. But it'll give you a thicker kind of coating. And so I'm just going to just kind of hit, let's get some up there on the edge. And I think this might give it the look of kind of like dew. So now I've got a blotchy gloss and some that absorbed in. There you go. Can you see that? That's kind of cool. So that is a handmade paper. And so basically I think what happened is that it just absorbed into that paper until I got enough on there with that embossing liquid with the brush. Oops, use the back is, see, it's all absorbed in. But that kind of looks like dew. So I'm going to do the exact same thing to this one. See if that happens again. And then we'll have those two that will be completely different. And I really like that effect. Happy accident. I love these happy accidents. These are the fun things. This is what playtime is all about. Okay. Let's get some that brown. I'm going to go ahead and stick with the brown because that seems to work fairly well. And I did it, so I'm kind of trying to recreate pretty much exactly what I did. That's that one of those thicker spots right there that stayed glossy. Okay, now let's get this. And I'm just going to dab it on. The idea is it looks kind of like dew. All right, still soaked in a little bit. So we're going to do one more time. And that's what we did last time. We did 3. So now we've got these 2 that have sort of this, whoops, that's still hot. Sort of this dewy kind of look to them. So that's fossilized amber with rusty hinge then in just spots on top. Okay, got enough. Enough. We are going to start putting some stuff together. Okay, now what am I going to do with all of these leaves? I don't know. I have no idea, but I have them. Just a nice variety. Some with some texture, some without. Some of the spray painty ones, some that are just plain. These that are just plain, I will probably do a little bit of inking on for any that I use, just to give it some depth. So let's go ahead and do that just to this one. And I'll just do it as I use them. That way I don't waste a bunch of time inking if I'm not going to use it. So I'm just going to kind of go around the edge a little bit. And they're hard to ink. There's easier ways. If I used my brush, which I guess I could do. Here. Let's see. Let's get a piece of... I could do this. Would be easier. Yeah. Except that brush had black on it, but that's all right. I actually kind of like that. Get that dark in there. Didn't realize that brush had black on it. Picked up the wrong one, but that's okay. I like that. All right, so I'm going to go to, I think I'm going to pop into one of the printed pages. This is a nice example where I'm not going to interrupt this by putting a collage on here. So let's do that here. And I'm just going to start just sort of randomly, see if I can get these to where I can see them. I want to start with something big in the background maybe. So let's just start there. Oh, that's so pretty. And then let's get one of these shiny ones on there. And I want to get some, where is it? I just saw it sitting on my desk. Here we go. I get a little bit of this banana fiber. All right, so maybe this is on here. or maybe this is in the background and this is on top. Maybe there's, let's see, maybe there's a book page back here. Back here. That's not bad. Let's bring in one of these. Okay, I'm back. It's dry. I've got leaves everywhere, just like my yard. This is the signature I was working on, and when you flip through, this has not been inked yet, but it is right here in the bottom. So there you go. The idea is that I'm going to create these little clusters on at least one page in every signature, and I want it to just look like, you know, leaves. Different colors, different textures, different die cuts with a little bit of other kind of stuff with it. And then I think what I'll do is group them down at the bottom like this with a button on each one. So that'll be kind of the consistent theme throughout, but each one will look completely different. So there you have it. Don't know if I'm in love with this one, but I'm going to keep going. Leave that one there. Obviously it's glued down. And keep going, and I think I will really like just the pop of, you know, the unexpected surprise as you're flipping through on these pages. And I'm going to try to put them on pages where there's not a physical piece other than color and, you know, trees and things like some leaves and things like that on there. So I'm not really covering anything of importance up. And I may put them in different spots. I may put one coming down from the top. This one obviously is on the bottom. So yeah, so I'm going to keep going off camera, and the next time I come on working on this journal, I will flip through and kind of show you all of the ones that I completed. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry it took so long, but it was just an experiment in playing in different, you know, different colors, different types of ink, different types of paper, and you know, different kinds of embossing and that kind of thing. And so I really like the variety that I've got here. Like I said, I won't use all of these, but here they are. Here's my pile. Oh, there's more. There's more. There's way more than I will ever need here. There we go. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm going to keep going and finish it off. And I will be back. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.